Good morning, Astro fam. I just started my camera without even, it was so weird. Today I want to go through a little tapping session. I've been noticing within myself just kind of some feelings of insecurity and feelings of like, I don't really know what I want or what's best for me. So I figured I would lead you all through a tapping session just because I think it's really powerful. When we tap, it's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. So we're tapping along certain meridians along your, that are just like energy channels. I think it works with your nervous system. It kind of helps to break a lot of like our thoughts or emotions and physiology is really connected. So for example, if you're stressed out about your to-do list, your stress system responds. Your cortisol and adrenaline, these are hormones that signify to your body that something isn't quite right. We need to be on edge, we need to be on alert so we can figure out this problem. And then our heart rate elevates a little bit. So it's thoughts that elevate our heart rate. Then our heart rate continues to be elevated. And what does that do? That keeps those thoughts going in our brain. So we get into these little loops with our bodies. It's not just heart rate. It's many different things. So the tapping is meant to kind of put a break in that cycle from all feeding into each other and kind of spiraling. Getting a lot more momentum, kind of like a steam engine. So let's break the cycle. For me, I'm going to give you some phrases to say. You can like turn the volume down and say them out loud. You can say them in your own head, kind of whatever you need to do. The phrase that I'm going to be saying is related to trust. So maybe I'll say self-doubt, just because that is... Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so think about what it is. It can be that you've been struggling with worry or fear or anxiety or depression or resentment. Kind of just have a sense of a triggering thing that has been taking you maybe into that cycle of a physical response to mental response to emotional to physical to mental to emotional. We'll start with the karate chop point on the side of the hand. You can do either side. It's up to you, whatever feels right. So we're just gonna start tapping kind of lightly. I like to use all my fingers. Make sure your legs aren't crossed. And say to yourself, and really think about the words. So try to feel the words in your body. Try to feel the words in your mind and heart. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with self-trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with self-trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with self-trust. One more time. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with self-trust. Now, relax your hands down, relax your shoulders down, close your eyes. And just take a moment to think about the words that you just said or thought. The phrasing is very important. It's important that we put the struggle behind us. I have struggled with self-trust. That kind of puts it back behind a little bit. We're not claiming to always struggle with trust. We're not claiming to continue to struggle. We're saying that it has been a struggle and that we love ourselves deeply and profoundly. And the two are not related. So even if I continue to struggle with trust all day, that doesn't matter because I'm still going to love myself deeply and profoundly. So just continue to bask in those words a little bit. And then bring that trigger forward again. Whatever it is for you, the self-trust, the anger, the resentment, the guilt, the shame, whatever it is, bring it forward and just kind of remember what it feels like to be in a highly active state of that trigger. How do you typically respond on a physical level? For me, I kind of get like a pit in my belly, or I feel kind of disoriented, like I can't see where I'm going or what I'm doing in more of a like future sense. Like I can see obviously with my eyes, but it's hard to see forward. It's hard to see because I don't trust the actions. I haven't trusted the actions that I make to know where I'm going. So just think about how it feels in your body to be met with that trigger. I've known people that will pull their hair out. I've known people that will lift their shoulders up into their ears. I know people that get racing heart. I know people that just get a sense of discomfort. So just kind of invite those feelings to come forward. We're just inviting the memory of the experience, so it can start to work us up a little bit, and that's okay, but just know that you are in control, you're in power. You've invited this memory to come back. And with that memory kind of in the front, the memory of the experience of whatever it is you're trying to soften around, we're going to tap it away. So now we're going to keep tapping. We're going to use a word instead of a phrase. So I'm going to use self-trust because that's what I'm focusing on. You use the word that is coming up for you. We're going to start. If you put your palm on your forehead, where your middle finger lands is the next tapping point. So just start to tap up there on the crown of your head and say your word out louder in your head, self-trust. Then come down to the inside of your eyebrow and repeat that word, self-trust. Then under your eyeball, self-trust. Come out to the side of your nose, self-trust. Then under your nose, kind of between your lip and your nose, self-trust. Come under your lip, between lip and chin, self-trust. Come down to the inner part of your collarbone, self-trust. Then under your arm, kind of where your bra strap would go, self-trust. Come down to your hand, the inner little corner of your thumbnail. We'll tap right there, self-trust. And then to your pointer finger, self-trust. Your middle finger, self-trust. And your pinky finger, we're going to skip the ring, self-trust. And come back to your karate chop point on the side of your hand and say your word 3 more times, really feeling it, thinking about it, knowing how it feels as you say it. Self-trust, self-trust, self-trust. All right, now relax your hands down, close your eyes. Take a little exhale, just like that, let some steam out. And then come back to the memory of whatever is triggering you, what it feels like to hold that experience in your body. Hopefully this time it doesn't feel as bad or as loud or as big or as overwhelming. We're going to go through that series 2 more times. So hopefully each time we check in, it just gets a little bit more quiet, a little bit like retreats a little bit more. Come back to your karate chop. Begin with your phrase, even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Relax your hands down. Take a big breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Begin to tap the top point of your head. Trust. Inner eyebrow. Trust. Under the eyeball. Trust. Outside of the nose. Trust. Under the nose. Trust. Under your lips. Trust. To your collarbone. Trust. Under your arm. Trust. To your thumb. Trust. Pointer finger. Trust. Middle finger. Trust. Skip the ring, go to the pinky. Trust. And back to karate chop. Say your word 3 times. Trust. 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 Relax your hands down, eyes closed, shoulders relaxed down from your ears. And then sit with the experience or the memory of the experience of your triggering word. Take a big breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And one more time through. Karate chop. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Relax your hands, relax your shoulders, close your eyes. Big inhale through the nose and then out through the mouth. Begin to tap the top part of your head, saying your word, trust. Inner eyebrow, trust. Under the eye, trust. Outside of the nose, trust. Between nose and upper lip, trust. Under your lips, trust. Your collarbone, trust. Your underarm, trust. To your thumb, trust. Pointer, trust. Middle finger, trust. And pinky finger, trust. Bring your karate chop back one more time. Let's say the phrase 3 times, seal it in. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. Even though I love myself deeply and profoundly, I have struggled with trust. And relax your hands down, eyes closed, shoulders soft. And just notice how you feel on the inside. Give yourself a moment to acknowledge whatever it is that triggered you, trust, anger, guilt, whatever your word was. Pause to see the value in it. It served you at one point, or you wouldn't have picked it up. So for me, I think it's just like an overreaction to choices I've made in the past, where I'm like, how could I do that to myself? It makes me not want to trust myself, but I see how it served me. I see how, I did certain things, and then I got into a relationship. I think that's mainly what it is. That was scary, and just feel like if I could do that to myself, like how could I trust anything going forward? But that was an important lesson. It brought me things that I needed to learn and to get in this lifetime. So don't beat yourself up for having these little triggers, these little things that maybe send you over the edge sometimes or get you wound up sometimes. Send some love to the past versions of yourself for everything you've ever done. And then just bring it around to who you are right now and how I don't need to be untrusting of myself. I don't need to be untrusting of the universe. And I have it within my power to kind of work with that when I feel it pop up. And you have it within your power to work with your things when they pop up. So I hope this is helpful to you. I hope you come back and use it when you need it. And if you want a condensed version that doesn't have all the explanations, let me know and I'll make one. I hope you have a great day.